Seafood. It's one of the towering pillars of our Australian culinary reputation. A reputation that's recognised throughout the world for its sensational taste and sizzling innovations. But there's more to great seafood than just what you see on your plate. And you're about to dive deep into the full story of how it gets there. I'm Andrew Weddinghausen. I've spent the past 2 decades fishing for fun on screen, yours and mine. Now I'm getting serious, teaming up with some of Australia's toughest professional fishing crews and introducing them to some of the country's most creative chefs. Together we'll sail Australian waters from east to west to show you the whole amazing journey from ocean depths to the heights of culinary delight in each delicious adventure of seafood escape. This week's Seafood Escape sees us on Queensland's Coral Coast, in the waters off Gladstone and the town of 1770. And for me, it's familiar territory, because this trip is taking me to a place and to a type of fishing that lines up precisely with my own sports fishing activities. We're among the Capricorn and Bunker group of islands, about 80 k's off the Queensland coast. This area attracts tourists in large numbers and from more than one species. In the season, thousands of humpback whales pass through these jewel-like waters on their annual northern holiday. Human tourists come to Heron and Lady Elliot Islands. And I was fishing here myself with some good wreck fisho mates only earlier this year. Oh, that is an absolute... Holy snap! I'm just going to light me drag. It's getting right back up in here. Well, my biggest ever cobe. But now I'm getting serious. Aboard commercial fishing boat Jacody. We're heading out to fish for business, not pleasure. Boat skipper Travis is in the middle of a 6-day trip. Fishing, eating, sleeping and living totally alone in the confines of this tough little working boat. I've joined him for 1 day of his trip, and with me is executive chef Jake Nicholson. The seafood in Jake's prestigious Blackbird Restaurant in the heart of the Merchant Banker Belt in Brisbane CBD seems a far cry from where we are right now. But boats like this are the ultimate source of the fish Jake serves to his clients. Fish like the mighty Red Emperor, the target species in Travis's sights today. Big Reds are one of my personal all-time favourite fish to catch.
Hey, that's okay.
And heading out here reminds me of many previous encounters with them, like one trip a bit further north with my mate Graham from Keppel Bay fishing with his daughter. There's no room for fancy rods and reels in the more serious environment of the working deck of the Jacody. Here it's a simple hand reel and no-nonsense heavy mono. And every fish that comes aboard is money in the bank, we hope.
Andrew, I think we'll be looking for some good lunch today. Hopefully, it all goes to plan.
Yeah, now Travis has been fishing all his life. He's doing some Red Emperor fishing at the moment, and we're hopefully going to catch some Red Emperor, maybe even a coral trout. I guess the most important thing is use nice solid baits, because they pull them off pretty quick, the pickers, don't they?
They do, mate.
Bait, you're talking...
Hussa.
Hussa. Oh, they're a good bait. Where there's Red Emperor, there's usually a big pile of hussas sitting not too far away. We're lucky with the weather and just a light swell. But pro fisho Travis has to be out here in anything short of a cyclone.
When the weather comes, it becomes a very challenging job, just trying to position yourself on the right spot and all the little... Everywhere's different. Certain fish don't continue through the night, like trout and that. Like, when you still catch fish, but the big amounts don't seem to be there.
Yep.
Jake's first up for a go on the boat's one fixed hand reel.
Just if you feel some dong, dong, dong,
Yeah. You pull on it then?
you drop it and you start winding this. Go. Here you go.
Come on, Jake. Nice big one, mate. Come on, Jake.
It's hard back.
Going good, Jake. First fish on the bait. That's great. Well done.
Yeah, he's got it.
It's a parrotfish and legal, so a good start.
And so what's your gut feeling about people talking about sustainability issues and things like that?
Mate, I think everything's working fantastic, and the way the screens are set up, everything I know, I've got to refer back to coral trout. Mate, there's more trout out there now than there was 20 years ago.
Yeah, and what that's because of the practices put in place?
I believe it is, mate. The greens and the way that they've become much more strict with the measuring. You know, you used to be able to stretch them and blah, blah, blah. Now it's just mouth closed.
Next up, it's my turn to try for a sustainable catch. And I've got to say, this handrail is unfamiliar tackle. So it's a tense wait for my bait to drop down to the bottom. And then more tense waiting for a bite, but not for too long. There's a bit of weight there. It's sort of hard. Normally I'm using a rod and reel, so it's a completely different feeling without the rod and reel. It's hard to judge what size fish you've got on here. Hopefully it's still there. It's a little bloke. At least I'm on target. You won't be legal, but not quite size. So I'll just slip that out. Circle hook. Beautiful, there she goes. In professional fishing, Jake's parrot beats my emperor hands down, and we need to get more paying fish into the icebox. So now it's time for the real pro to have a go. And with Travis on the job, it's a masterclass in handline fishing for Jake and me, as he keeps putting in those hard yards for what he hopes will eventually be a handsome payoff. And it is, target species, and it's looking like it'll be legal.
He's legal, mate.
Legal.
Yep.
Good beauty. Well done, champion. Good on you.
Yeah, like I said, it's very, very important when you're measuring your fish not to try and manipulate them.
Yep.
So you just go. Like you could say, I'll always lose maybe half a centimetre once they're frozen.
Yep, so 55 centimetres, legal size for a red emperor.
Sure is, mate.
What do you reckon about that, eh, Jake?
It looks very nice, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, nice size fish for the pan. And that's Jake's pan coming up. In Queensland's Bunker Island group, it's easy to find a nice place for lunch. Well, Jake, we had a bit of fun out there, catching a few different species, but the red emperor was probably the best one of the day, and it's a beautiful fish to eat, red emperor. And what are you planning to do today with this red emperor?
I've got some beautiful ingredients that we've brought on board here today. We've got some curry leaves here. We've also got these desert limes. Pretty tasty, they pack a lot of punch.
Yep.
Native to Australia. And these here are just green peppercorns, so nice and soft. Got some coriander to finish the dish off. We're also going to use some cauliflower, and this is going to be absolutely amazing with that. So the next thing is chuck our fish on. Okay. Nice and hot, and it is important to have it nice and hot because we don't want that fish to stick. There we go, you hear the sizzle.
And how long will this take, do you think?
This is probably going to be about 20 minutes. Given the size of her, we'll probably drop the lid down so it creates a bit of an oven and cooks all the way through. Right, time to turn this thing over.
Got a good smell. Oh, look at that fish. Looking pretty nice.
It will be nice when we're finished.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, being a chef, we always love to add salt. Salt is flavour. So what we're going to do now, Andrew, is create a bit of an oven so the lid of the barbecue will do perfectly that.
Perfect. And if you have to hang around for 20 minutes, this is a pretty good place to do it.
Might be time to check this fish.
Oh, look
wow.
at that. Woo!
That's a beautiful smelling fish. So you're going to hold that for me?
Yeah, no worries. I'll hold that nice and steady. Oh, brilliant. Look at that. 1 minute it was swimming around. We're going to make a nice party meal for us. That's an absolute beautiful.
There's just a few other ingredients to cook.
Cauliflower.
Yeah, so the cauliflower, very versatile ingredient. And today we're just going to simply roast it on the barbie. So break it up into little florets like this. It's like a healthy fish and chips, if you will. We've got the fish and this is our chips, but healthy style.
Yeah, good.
So all these beautiful flavours that are on the barbecue already, we're going to utilise them. These are the oils and the flavours from the fish. So we get them all involved. So just a pinch of salt. It's all about flavour.
And is that one up the back a bit of seaweed?
Yeah, so we've got some seaweed that I grabbed off one of the back of the nets today. And yeah, that's just a bit of decoration. So we're going to add the desert lime, and these are going to add a beautiful punch to the dish. Just chuck them on there.
Wow, you can smell the aroma straight away.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Beautiful ingredient. Then we'll add some peppercorns. Now these ones are soft, so I've got a beautiful peppery flavour. These are curry leaves. Now these sort of things are readily available in the markets and offer a great flavour to any sort of dish that you're doing.
Yeah, everything you throw on just adds another whole flavours, and I can tell you, there's some good smelling herbs and spices right there.
Yep, that's what it's all about. Without taking away from that beautiful white fleshed fish. Right, now it's time for a bit of garlic.
Okay, so that's been just soaked in oil, has it?
Yeah, well, we sliced the garlic a little bit earlier, and then I've just chucked it in a little bit of oil. That just helps it not to burn straight away on the barbecue.
You should be standing where I am, or the people at home should be, because this is amazing.
You know, these little desert limes, you can see they're getting caramelised themselves. The sort of sugar content of that is going to be sweet, and the curry leaves and the peppercorns are going to pack that peppery sort of punch. So it's really going to be a flavour explosion in your mouth.
Yeah, gosh, that's going to be great.
Now what we're going to do is add a little bit of butter. This butter is going to become nut brown and again add another dynamic to this dish.
Looks good.
A little bit of parsley, just roughly. And we're going to chuck that on. That's just going to add
another smell. Wow.
And I think we are just about there with this. Beautiful. So here we go. And of course we've got our limes here. Drinking that on. Here we've got some crispy fried shallots. Just baby onions that have been just deep fried, nice and crunchy. Coriander.
Wow, how good does that look?
Some of this seaweed we had around, just so we feel like we're out at sea.
Yeah, we are.
We certainly are.
Fantastic.
And that's it.
Look at that. Magnificent. Well done, champion.
No worries.
Hey, that's magnificent. I haven't got a hand to shake.
Yeah, it's all right.
Great work.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks very much.
Awesome stuff.
Awesome to look at, even more awesome to eat, as you'll see coming up. Red Emperor never looked and tasted better than Jake's barbecued working lunch on board the Jacody. But the lunch break was all too short because Travis still has an icebox to fill with money-earning fish. So we're soon back out fishing for Travis's livelihood in the deep waters somewhere in the big blue vastness of the Coral Sea. And soon learning just how hard a pro fisho's life can be way out here. Apart from the costing damaged tackle, a shark on the line is just a waste of time for Travis. And not just the time he has to lose in handling it. With big predators like that around, there's no option but to up anchor and move on to another spot. And every time he makes a move like this, Travis is adding to his already hefty fuel bill. What's a pleasant cruise for Jake and me is a loss in productive time that Travis can ill afford. So we're all hoping that this drop of the pick will result in a good catch of another money-making species.
Well, we've done a little bit of travelling. Now we're going to do some coral trout fishing. So what's the bait? Just a simple pilly?
Yep, one pilchard, one hook, one sinker. Probably a large sinker in this sort of depth.
Righto.
Let's give it a go, eh?
Show us how it's done.
Fishing for trout, Travis uses hand reels rather than the big mounted one. So this time there's the opportunity to double our chances with a couple of lines down at the same time. And wouldn't you know it, there's a double hookup. The one Travis brings in looks like a good size, and the measuring scale confirms it's legal. So that's another few dollars worth to go on the ice. And our skipper's a happier camper. But there's still more work to be done to make this a worthwhile trip. And another double hookup helps. And again, they're the same species.
Brown Maori. How big do these guys have to be?
45.
That one doesn't measure up, but
Be close.
we still want better.
Come on, baby. We want a trout.
I love a finger still. What is
Coral
it?
trout, come on.
I think it's a trout.
No?
I think it might be a red, you know?
Really? Let's have a look at that. Oh, wow. Codger. He's a good fish.
Really, really nice eating big cod. They're one of the few fish, the bigger they are, the tastier they are.
right.
Nice and meaty.
Yeah, just real big, flaky chunks. I can't explain it, mate. But just gold.
Like crab-like almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
All right, lob him in.
Not a coral trout, but Travis isn't complaining. He's finally starting to fill his icebox with enough fish to make a profitable trip to the markets. And we never did catch a coral trout in all our time with Travis on his Spartan fishing boat. It's a hard life for professional line fishermen, even in an environment as picture perfect as this. It makes me realise how lucky I am to come and play out here and fish for fun, not work.
Oh, that's a beauty. Oh, look at him. That's great. That's an awesome fish.
And if you like awesome, just wait till you see what Chef Jake Nicholson can do with a coral trout in his restaurant kitchen. That's coming up next. Our seafood escape to the reefs was made all the more comfortable and convenient by staying at Quest Gladstone Serviced Apartments. Well placed right in the CBD and offering studio, 1, 2 and even 3-bedroom apartments, the Quest is the perfect location for your next visit to Gladstone for business or leisure. In the heart of Brisbane CBD, Blackbird Restaurant is a far cry from the lonely life of a professional reef fisherman way out on the Coral Sea. The cross-river ferries are the closest thing here to the tough little boats pros like Travis live and work on. The business people who meet for lunch here have little idea of the hard work that goes into bringing reef fish to their tables. And the work continues in the busy kitchen where a battery of chefs under executive chef Jake Nicholson turn wild-caught fish like coral trout into sophisticated works of culinary art. It's an amazing story from the bottom of the sea, through ice and fire, to finally end on a fine dining plate.
Well, Jake, this is a cracking fish. What are you going to do?
We're going to grill it over the coals here, and I've got some poached pumpkin gnocchis, a pumpkin and ginger beurre blanc, and some beautiful sea bananas and some sea spray. Really add a new dimension to the dishes we create.
Never seen these before, except when I've trod on them up on the sand dunes and places like that.
And equally amazing, here's a filleting technique I never knew.
A little trick we have in the restaurant is we just use some scissors and cut away these rib bones here. And there we have it, 2 beautiful fillets of coral trout. I like to do a couple of little diamond shapes.
And what are you going to do now?
Yeah, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to make a sauce out of the pumpkin, just like you juice your oranges really. We're going to juice the pumpkins and use that for the base of the sauce. We need to put the pumpkin juice in this pot. And that's just going to reduce down on the coals over here. It smells pretty good.
Starting to smell pretty nice. Now this looks good. Bit of outback camping.
It absolutely is. You put a rack over it, just put the pot on like you would a normal stove. Add a bit of star anise.
Wow, you can feel the heat coming off now. I think I'm getting a suntan while I'm here.
So what we're going to do now is add the butter. The butter will add a bit of a viscosity, and that's just going to coat our pumpkin gnocchis beautifully for the basis of this dish. So now we're going to grill the fish. We're ready to cook. So we've got the beautiful coral trout here, and we've got the Mooloolaba king prawns, and that's going to go on top of the grill here. You can see the smoke just coming off that wood perfectly, and just a little bit of oil. I opt to put the flesh side down, get a little bit of heat through it first, and then see how we go.
Wow, that looks great. So the prawns up next?
Yeah, so the prawns go on now. Same story.
Beautiful. And obviously the prawns probably take a little bit less time than the fish will.
You can eat prawns raw, so we just try and, I guess, kiss them on the grill a little bit. So you can see the sauce is just beautiful now. It's going to coat the gnocchi beautifully. So it's just as simple. You take the gnocchi, put a few in the pan. We're not trying to get any colour on them. We're just trying to poach them in our sauce. Okay, so what we do now is we're going to add some beautiful sauce here.
And so is the pumpkin ginger sauce going to be absorbed by the gnocchi?
The gnocchi's already full of flavour, but the pumpkin and the ginger are going to soak in. They're like little pillows, little sponges of flavour, I guess. All right, beautiful. So now we've got our sea spray here. Now there's everything to do with the sea in your mouth. And then some chives as well. Beautiful, that's coated the gnocchis just perfectly.
Time to get the seafood off.
Well, that looks
That's fantastic.
perfect.
And those prawns look great.
Yeah, the prawns are beautiful. We are ready to plate up. Yeah, we've got the pumpkin gnocchi here. So I think, you know, the visual thick side of food, we want that food to be like, wow. And, you know, then when they put it in their mouth, they can really taste all the work and effort that's gone into it from the fisherman all the way through to the chef.
100%. And I guess that was a great thing to be able to go out on the boat the other day and see where all the seafood comes from.
Yeah, what an experience, Andrew. It was absolutely amazing. There we go. Now, it's just glistening, isn't it? A little bit more sauce around there like that. And some of that sea spray over the top. And then prawns as well. This is going to be a real seafood treat, I reckon. Coral trout, ginger and pumpkin. So there you have it.
Look at that. Fantastic.
Wood-grilled coral trout, Mooloolaba king prawns, pumpkin and ginger gnocchi.
Well done, mate. Jake, you're a
No
champion. That's beautiful.
My pleasure.
Find the recipe on our website. See fishfiles.com.au for more seafood information, and
I look forward to seeing you next week when I head off on another seafood escape.